Buongiorno, come sta? Hello and welcome, savvy travellers and friends, to Travel in the Know, direct from Rome. And this morning I'm at the Trevi Fountain, but this is what it looked like last night. My idea of an absolute horror show. Scene of so many tourists visiting one spot at the same time is, I think, what puts people off mass tourism, and some people stay at home as a result. And it's true that this part of Rome is famous for pickpockets, overcrowding, and I think children overheating in all the excitement with the push and shove of people constantly around them. Having said that, you can see here in the overpriced restaurants that people are having fun and extremely friendly, so who am I to judge? Where are you from? Where? Czech Republic. Drinking beer in Italy. Yeah. That's great, that's excellent. As a result though, I decided to come back this morning, the following day, and I thought there'd be far less people. I arrived at 9 a.m. and it wasn't too crowded, so I took some shots of the fountain, and now it's around about 9:30 and it's actually filling up quite quickly. But let's have a look at the Trevi Fountain, its history, and also see some of the fun things that you can do in the area, which perhaps aren't so crowded even later on in the day. In some ways it was a good thing to come yesterday because the fountain was working, and this morning you can see that there seems to be a few problems getting things started, and there are some engineers at hand. They've been working really hard for the last half an hour, but as yet no fountain. You'll all know by now how I like to put little interviews in my videos. Well, it's proving quite difficult here, and I think the reason is because it's so international that a lot of the tourists don't speak English at all. There's lots of Japanese, Chinese, Koreans, and all sorts of places. And so far, I've asked about 15 people, and no one's prepared to do a mini interview.
My name is Sebastian.
And you're obviously from Liverpool?
No, I'm from Norway, but I support Liverpool.
And this weekend, Liverpool won the Premier League. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much.
How are you feeling?
Very happy, very happy.
That's excellent. But you're not in Liverpool, you're here in Rome.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Trevi Fountain?
It's beautiful. It's very beautiful. I don't know what more to say. It's beautiful. You have to experience it.
And is there a reason why you've come quite early in the morning?
To be quite honest, I'm with the school. So it's a school trip. So we have to come down here early in the morning. But as well, it's just a nice start to the day.
Hello.
What's your name?
Sara.
And where are you from?
Norge.
Ah,
Yeah.
What do you think of the Trevi Fountain?
Veldig fin, veldig gøy å være her og få se det.
What's your name, please?
Bob,
And where are you from?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That's great. They call you Gunner as well.
They
right?
call me Gunner, yes sir.
So what's your impression of this amazing fountain?
Absolutely spectacular, awe-inspiring actually. How old it is and how it's withstand all the ages and all the earthquakes and the weather, and how beautiful it still stands, yes.
This has been the site of a fountain for centuries, going back to Roman times. But this Baroque masterpiece was actually designed and built in 1732 by the famous Italian architect Nicola Salvi. There's a tradition here in Rome that if you throw a coin into the Trevi Fountain, then you're sure to return. So it's a very good insurance policy, better than anything you can get for money. The only problem is that it seems to cause a problem for the fountains as well. And that's why the engineers are working right now to unclog them so that the famous fountain can actually start working. One remarkable aspect about the Trevi Fountain is how a palace front and fountain have been combined all in one. The fountain actually took 30 years to build completely, and unfortunately Nicola Salvi was no longer alive, so another architect had to make some final amendments. Naturally, the backdrop of the Trevi Fountain, combined with the extraordinary art of Italian cinema, has made this a wonderful location for all sorts of movies, both Italian and Hollywood. But for me, perhaps the most famous of all is Fellini's film, La Dolce Vita. When you watch a vlog about the Trevi Fountain on YouTube, one thing that's not immediately apparent perhaps is just the enormous scale of this work. Well, let me just turn the camera around and I'll tell you as well that actually it is 26 meters high. That is 85 feet and also approximately 49 meters wide. That is monumental. Look at some of the other fountains around town which are much smaller and still think that they would gracefully adorn my hometown of Ipswich. But this is hundreds of times more large and more magnificent. the scale is breathtaking. The fountain was eventually officially opened in 1762 by Pope Clement XIII, and this, as a result, represented a further symbol of the papal authority and influence in the city of Rome, and it was meant to be a statement as such as well. The most important purpose of the fountain was to provide potable water to the citizens of Rome, who would come here obviously and collect it. And believe it or not, that practice actually continued until 1961, at which time the water was no longer deemed fit for consumption. In fact, of course, Rome now has far more modern systems which bring water to every household. It's worth pointing out that the fountain's water actually would still be drinkable today, but actually the water in the basin is constantly recycled from environmental grounds and would probably give you a terrible tummy ache if you attempted to drink it. I think it would be interesting to find out a little bit more about the history of the source of the Trevi Fountain's water, so we'll do that in a moment. But first of all, I think it's time to find an ice cream. One of my memories of the Trevi Fountain on both occasions when I brought my kids when they were both very young on two separate occasions is that they demanded gelato, gelato, ice cream, because there are so many ice cream vendors around the square. It's quite incredible. Have you had the same experience? If so, why not put a comment below? And if you have got a favourite ice cream flavour, I'd like to know what it is as well. So, off to the ice cream, and then we'll find out more about the source of the water. This is Giolitti. It's around about 500 meters from the Trevi Fountain, so far enough away from the hordes of tourists, but still, it's ice cream. And according to many, this is actually the best ice cream in the whole of Roma. And I have no idea how much it's going to cost me. I have lost my travel in the know compass, and I'm carried away by la vita romana. I don't know if that's correct. My Italian is terrible. So let's tuck into the ice cream first, I think, before it melts. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely delicious. By the way, the price, total price, €19.50, which I think for a major tourist site is okay, and it's quite nice that they bring you some water as well. So, magnificent. That's crema. This ice cream is called crema, and true to its word, it's creamy, soft and delicious, and already melting a bit. So what's this over here? This is coffee ice cream, I think. It is, and it's great. It's like an ice cream cappuccino, an Italian one. I don't normally like coffee ice cream, but I always have it in Italy because there it's just different class. And also, just look at this wafer. It doesn't look like an ice cream wafer, does it? It reminds me of, I'll tell you what, a cigar for Winston Churchill. But no negative health effects. Let's try the cappuccino now. Very creamy, not as much coffee as I would expect. Perhaps I need to stir it in, shouldn't do that with a cappuccino. It certainly looks beautiful. This cream is good. That's a good cappuccino, but definitely not the best I've had in Rome. I've reached the Opera Italiana flavour now as well. Very milky. Not creamy, milky. And it has a whole mixture of nuts, I think. Definitely tastes pistachio, but there's also almond and hazelnut in there, I think. It's very sweet. Little bits of croquant. That's definitely my favourite flavour out of this mix. And this must be amongst the best ice creams in Rome. I'm not going to make an ultimate judgment, but it's brilliant, really it is. Fantastic. I left the cannoli from Sicily to last. This brings me back happy memories from trips to Sicily and also living in Malta, where the Italian influence has reached, certainly in terms of people enjoying cannoli. Let's see what this one is like. So I'm not going to stand on ceremony. Let's just put a little piece in my hand because I can't actually find a fork. Crunchy pastry, delicious cream, so sweet, and the little candied fruit actually just adds a little bit of flavour and even more sweetness. Very nice cannoli. Now this cream is delicious, but it'll probably help you. I'll tell you what it's made of. So it's made of ricotta cheese, and it's then sweetened with powdered sugar and flavoured with vanilla extract, as well as a little bit of citrus zest. Truly, I've taken my time to enjoy this. I've been sitting here for about an hour, and now it's time for us to resume our quest for information about the Trevi Fountain and where the source for the water actually commences. So we're going to go to the Acqua Virgo Aqueduct. You can't see too much because it's closed, but this is actually the aqueduct that feeds the Trevi Fountain. It's only a 3-minute walk away, definitely worth seeing, and it's worth remembering that this is actually the only Roman aqueduct still functioning today in the Eternal City. We're around about 100 meters from the Trevi Fountain, and as you can see, it's much quieter here. There's nobody around at all, yet this is a point of extreme historic interest. This is the entrance to the Vicus Caprarius, which is the City of Water. It's actually an underground archaeological treasure, the water tank of the ancient aqueduct that still feeds the Trevi Fountain. To this day, this attraction gets 500 visitors a day, and that's partly because there's a limited capacity, but also, as you can see, tourists don't turn around the corner. There are lots of places near the Trevi Fountain which are nowhere near as crowded as the fountain itself and have lots of fascinating secrets to offer up. Very respectfully, may I suggest that you are one of the 500 people who makes it down here every day. It's spectacular, and it helps really understanding even more the truly exceptional achievement of the Trevi Fountain, and that actually it really dates back to Roman times in terms of transporting water to the fountain for the populace of Roma. The entrance fee is €4. It's one of the best travel in the know investments you'll ever make. Hopefully you've enjoyed this special program dedicated to the Trevi Fountain, how to avoid the crowds and also taste some of the best ice cream in the whole of Italy. Well, if you've liked it, please subscribe and consider asking for notifications, and we'll see you very soon again on Travel in the Know. Thank you so much. Grazie a lei. Arrivederci. Ciao.